Hey guys.
Hi.
So today we're going to talk about private members clubs. Why? Because someone submitted the question. So for those of you who don't know what a private members club is, essentially it's a location. It's a membership community that's based on a particular location, and you can pay a membership fee on a monthly or annual basis to enable you to have the opportunity to be in that space. And that space is kind of quite exclusive in the most part. Is that fair? Yeah. And there's various members clubs across the UK, London, the world, whatever. And Byron and I are both members of a variety of members clubs. And I think what the person wants us to do is talk about why.
Is that what the question is?
There was no question. It just said
so
members clubs.
So just based on what you said, so I wouldn't say a lot of these clubs are, some of them are, I wouldn't say they're exclusive, but what I would say is they're shaped by price. So rather than being this unreachable place that no one can join, it's not that. It's if you have the right amount of money, you can join most of these types of events.
Yeah, but some of them are exclusive because you have to know someone.
You have to know two people.
However, so you need two people to vouch for you.
So what I find that is that's just a barrier to stop certain people joining.
Yes.
Because when you look at joining members clubs these days, and I've joined quite a few, they ask for 2 referees. Mm-hmm. You have one, and then they just let you through.
And sometimes if you don't have one, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of a smoke screen because they want to make sure that you're the right type of person that joins their club.
In that point, then there's different levels of membership club.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe something that's worth discussing because there are levels to these members clubs. Some of them you can't get into unless you have someone.
Yeah.
When I say have someone, you have to have. But I think you're being unfair because we got into the certain members clubs that we're members of because of
who we know. So on and so forth. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think there's a club in this. Well, maybe I just don't know of it. Maybe I'm not part of that.
Elite, you know what? It's money at the end of the day. It's a sales. Right. It's sales. When so if the money's right, they're gonna let you join. Point. Yeah, sure. And I'm sure there's some sort of elitist view on it. They probably do look at you and say, "Who are you? What's your credentials? And what do you do?" Because remember when we went to see one of the clubs and they were like, "You went in a suit." And they were kind of
collars.
"Oh no, we don't really. You can't really join. There's no collars.
Yeah.
We're a creative club.
Yeah.
We don't really like you non-creatives."
Yeah.
Right,
so some clubs, some members clubs are non-collars.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's their space. They want creatives. They want people in media, in fashion, and so on. And that's, most of my days I wear a shirt.
So the purpose of joining a members club, though, or why would you join? And I think maybe that's what they're getting at. And I think sometimes people think it's just like, they don't really get it.
Yeah.
They just think you join just for the sake of it. They don't really get the need.
Yeah, okay. So I'll maybe explain from my kind of personal experience. So the reason why I was looking for members clubs is I was at a stage in my life and in my business where I wanted to do certain things, and I guess that wasn't being fulfilled by kind of my current network or at the time, or friendship group, and I wanted to meet new people. So I didn't know where, this was 2012, 11, I didn't know where to find some of these people that was kind of a natural organic environment. So what I decided to do was look for a private members club. I went to quite a few kind of, maybe 3 or 4 members clubs and kind of had lunch at them all. And I found one that was kind of suited me, my personality and what I'm like. A young black professional, and I'd wanted to be in a comfortable environment, and I found a members club that kind of ticked that box. And I've been a member there ever since. So as most of you know who know me, that's Home House in Portman Square. I've been a member there for many years now, and that kind of gives me the whole theme and concept about home house is it's a home from home. Yeah, so it gives me everything from a gym, it gives me a sauna, steam room, it gives me networking environment, it gives me restaurants, it gives me bars, it gives me clubs, it gives me events to do. So it gives me kind of that full 360. It even has hotel rooms. So it gives me that full 360 kind of experience that I want for myself, and it has parking. Oh, it's so important.
So one thing that I don't understand why more of these members clubs don't have or facilitate a relationship with a local parking.
Absolutely. It's
company.
not even their own parking. They've just struck a deal with the local NCP, and instead of me having to pay £50 for the parking or £60, it's at a discounted rate, and it makes so much sense. So for me, these are some of the reasons why I joined a members club, was to meet different people, to have different experiences, to socialize with a variety of different people. And it's incredible because it's like some of these clubs, like my club, for example, these are your doctors, your lawyers, all your professionals, your entrepreneurs, all your decision makers are in these spaces. You'll be partying with your doctor, and that's the kind of...
sure. If your doctor is a Harley Street doctor.
Well, my doctor is, but...
Well, I know, so I think that's like a...
Yeah. But this
You'll be partying with your doctor, your local GP, guys. That's not really, like, the average person doesn't, it's not fair representation, is it? I'm just being honest, some of us go to our local, but hey, look,
that's a whole other conversation about private GP versus your
I know that,
GP.
but I'm just saying, you said just partying, it's like standardly partying with your doctor, and it's just not a fair
but even forget my doctor, other doctors I've met there.
No,
I've met like...
So what you're saying is it puts you in a space with a different type of person,
and it's just a different mentality.
But that's also because of the location, right? So some of the members clubs we've been to, there's members clubs located across London.
Yeah.
But being in Portman Square or being in Mayfair, that brings a certain calibre of person, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I guess from a certain industry,
Yeah.
and the price point also dictates that. So.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting about members clubs is because there is different levels, you do meet different people, and sometimes and the area dictates who you meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, our other members club in Covent Garden, you get a different type of person, probably a more creative, probably a newer startup, bit more kind of maybe techie, bit creative. So it gets different types of people. But I think what's really important about members club is having that space to have your meetings.
Yeah.
And to
professional environment to meet your clients, which is important. And how I use the club is I'll be there for the day, and I'll just get all my meetings to meet me in one location.
Yeah.
And members clubs is such a great business. They charge you for the pleasure of being a member. Yeah. They charge you for all your food and your drink. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. The only thing is quite funny is when you have your meetings, and people, I always laugh to myself because when it's on the other foot, I laugh because when I go to a meeting and it's at a members club and someone has opened a bar or a tab, like I would if I'm having meetings. Yeah. You have a meeting, people come and have a drink and they leave. Yeah. And at the end of the day,
thanks very much,
when you come to the end of your day and you're like, woo, yeah. That was a lot of teas, wasn't it? But that's the nature of the beast.
What members clubs does though for you is you don't have to now. I think it's quite acceptable now not to have an office.
Absolutely.
Or to work from home. And so when we talk about members clubs, I guess we're talking about private members clubs, but it's also not dissimilar to the workspaces that people have now. So those kind of like Work, the place called, I think it's called Work. Is it called Work? WeWork, yeah. A bit like a WeWork scenario where people go there to do their work for the day, then they go home or whatever. So I think it's a really good way of having a space where you do your work, so you're not in your same home environment, and you're getting out there and you're meeting new people and you're building those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. But
it has to work for you.
Yeah, it's a great networking space or workspace, as you put it, to just put your mind in a different place and allow you to meet new people. Now, having said that, I do know people who are members of clubs who have not seen a return on their investment.
That's what I was about to say. It has to work for you.
Yeah. So if that's what I didn't realise.
I was getting there, but you started talking over me. That's fine.
So what's new?
Yeah.
So I know people, as I said, who have joined members clubs who have not got a return on their investment and spend a lot of time at these clubs. And this is lots of different people actually. And I just think it's so important to understand what you want from the club. So it's not a given to say you can join a members club and you're going to be rich and you're going to get all these clients. It's so important to understand your purpose and why you want the club and use it to your advantage for that. Now for me, I do not go to my members club to get a return on my investment.
But that wasn't your purpose.
No,
I think
and it still isn't. My members club is for me to meet new people and a great space for me to have meetings,
events.
Absolutely, and you know, we have events, networking events there now, and I've got great points of contact. So I have a different purpose. So, you know.
But if your purpose is, if you're looking at the cost, say it's £1,200 a year, so you're spending £100 a month. If you think that's £100 a month just for the membership, plus your food, plus your drinks, plus your events and all that stuff. If you think that you need to make that £100 back, then you need to have a plan. Essentially, don't you need to have? But I don't think that's the way it's used. I think people misinterpret its use.
Yeah, I think that if your sole purpose is to go and find new business at members clubs, I think that's the wrong way to do it. I think you're going to find it very challenging. It is a social, most part, it is a social space, or a place to have your meetings, but it should not be confused for like, you're going to get loads of business out of it. Luckily for me, by some of the people that I've met, I've been able to do some good business, and more so. And if the people that know me, my networking strategy is not necessarily to do business with them. It's more about giving value and what I can do for them, and in turn, what that means is me introducing them to other people, and in turn, that means I might get commission by other ways of strategy. So that's how I just generally network. So that's how I've been able to get a return on my investment. But even if that did not happen, I would still be a member at Home House. So some of the other membership clubs, like, what was the actual question from?
As I said, there wasn't a question. They just said, can you talk about private members clubs?
So there are some other clubs out there.
I think some people are not aware it even exists. So just at the very core of it, I think there is sometimes there's an element of surprise when you say, "I'll meet me at my private members club," and they're like, "Oh, okay, what's that? What's the purpose of this space? What does it do?" So I think it's just important for us to break down.
Does it sound a bit dodgy? Some people say it sounds a bit dodgy.
Really?
Don't know.
Oh no! Someone said to you, "Oh, is it a men's club?" I don't know what they meant by that.
Old boys club. Maybe that's what they meant.
Yeah, but no, I think it's not. It's a space that is. It's a bit like a gym, really, isn't it? I guess, but it is. You pay to be a member, and as a result, you're allowed to use the space and the facilities on a regular basis. And you either go there and do your workout and do your work, or you go there and you meet people and socialise.
Yeah. So I would just like to say, anybody that is looking for a members club, you don't just join. Make sure you go there more than once at the time you'll be using it. Yeah. So just think about when you'll be using it, because sometimes the clubs are very quiet on particular days. And you want to really get a feel for it. If it's just an event that they're holding, you're not really going to get a real true vibe for it. You really need to go more than once.
Because it is a commitment, isn't it? It's a year minimum. Often.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
And there's often a join-in fee as well, which is usually more than the membership.
It's a longer-term commitment, because by the time you get to know a couple of people, and you need to. This is like a 2-year plan, at least. We've been members of some other clubs now for like the best part of couple of years now, and their offering is so different, and to be honest, they don't really use those other clubs. Even their membership cards kind of just are there. It's a bit.
I think the benefit of us being members at like 3 clubs is that they're in different parts of London.
Yeah.
So if we happen to have a meeting in EC, then we've got one. You happen to have one in W1, and
but if you want to do filming, we'll use particular ones. They serve different purposes.
They serve different purposes. Yeah.
So well, I hope that answers their question.
Not a real question.
Or their kind of like statement about talk about membership clubs or members clubs.
So if you're thinking about joining a membership club, then go and look around, Go and kind of see what it's about, get a feel for it before you make any commitment. And definitely go and experience it, because it's an expensive, longer term commitment. But definitely look at it as an investment in yourself in terms of socializing and network, and as an opportunity to have a space that you can have meetings in. I think that is the important part.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Self-made.
Your success.